pipe that's pressurized, and all of a sudden the pressure comes off of it, and it sits there, and then the pressure comes back on, things might move. So we may not have seen the end to things coming apart, okay? Just to let you know. That's something that we're gonna have to monitor. Gave you a little bit of information about the wells and the outside place of use. The wells continue to function very well. Wells are functioning very well. Pumping 5.34 acre feet and 1 acre foot of consumption by the outside place of use customers. Again, I'm using both the customers that were on the old report, and I've added in the customers that we've identified are likely outside the place of use, but were not included in the old report. So we've added customers to that list, not added new connections, but added customers that we are monitoring to make sure that we don't have a state violation. If the state comes back and says, include them all, then we've been looking at the right numbers. Because there's definitely some that were not being reported that should have been, that have been customers for a long time.
There's no outside place of use, right? In this, because I didn't get it.
No, the outside place of use report is simply the total consumption and the total production. You know, we don't give out a customer list for every customer in the system and exactly what everybody consumes. If we want that report, I gladly produce it. I've just felt that it was, you know, this is based off of our operating records and is what we're required to comply with. We're not required to monitor on an individual connection by connection basis. It's the outside place use of total. So that's, I'll leave it at that, other than we are going to be filling a position. And that position, we need to have a grade 2 water treatment certification, so that if Randy ever in his lifetime wants to take a vacation, needs to get some pregnancy leave or something, you know, whatever it is that occurs, we've got to have a grade 2 backup. Right now, if Randy goes out, as long as we have access to talk with him and for him to be in communication with our other operator, it's okay. But the second grade 2 is really important. But we also, the primary purpose is to focus on distribution system maintenance. The fire hydrants, fire hydrant valves, pressure regulating valves, you know, everything from putting fences back together to, you know, just rebuilding valves and testing things, and because we're tied up a lot, as Randy can talk about in his report, with customer service stuff and meter stuff and treatment plant stuff and keeping the tanks full and responding to customer service needs. So this is an opportunity for us to get that maintenance done. Okay, shut up.
It's not, was there going to be comment on this, or was it just for presentation?
It's, if there's any clarity that you need on what I...
No, I don't. He said to me a comment, and I said I didn't know there was, and so no, I don't have
No, any questions? I want to say thank you for the report on the, the hydrants, and I'd ask you about the cost of considering, putting our own crew, and I want to clarify, when I asked you that question, it wasn't for the sake of construction, it was a sake for repair and maintenance, so that I wanted to clarify. I wasn't looking to replace somebody to come in here and do all the laterals or service lines. I was saying, should we go a different direction? Maybe we'll look at that again after we get through the grant funding on all the service lines. Do we do somebody at that point in time, add another person to our operations team, and then we start repairing those service lines ourselves versus going out, which would give us more flexibility for the district. So I appreciate the insight at this point in time. So maybe we'll revisit that again as a long-term thing when we, after we get through this round of service line replacements and see where we're at again with everything. So thank you for that. Okay. All right, Mr. Randy.
My report was pretty much exactly what Pete said, so I don't think I need to say it again. Is there any questions that anyone has for what's going on my side of the world here?
Well, I know we talked about pump one and the treatment plant. You said last month you're doing a workaround. I hate to see us do that for your sake, always having to, I'll say, babysit something. Can you get somebody to give us a bid of what it would cost?
I called them the morning I made this report actually, and I've actually called them multiple times. Industrial Electric is who I was referred to come do a low voltage panel type setup, a control type thing, and they have yet to call me back.
Okay.
I don't know if they're that busy, they're subbed out through, I know TUD uses them as well, so they're all kind of all over the place. I don't know how big an outfit they are, but I've left multiple messages with them to call me back, letting them know exactly what the problem is, and I've yet to get anything back.
Okay.
We can reach out to others, and that's just who I was referred to
Okay.
as who does that stuff for other districts.
Okay.
That's as far as I've gotten with that. Today's Monday, I called them, I think, Wednesday or Thursday, and here we are.
Okay. Well, good, because, my next question to you is, you talked about the barge, seeing the plan, so on and so forth. And what do you think of the proposal? And do you feel, will this help you increase your efficiency and your safety when using that barge out there? Because that's, my thing is, let's work smarter, not harder.
The design and the whole concept with the barge kind of came from myself, my input, Jose's, Pete's, the engineers,
Okay.
the manufacturers at the lake, Twin Lakes Management. We all put our heads together and said, what is going to work best? And in all honesty, what's there is what our idea is. That's what's going to be best for us, but we won't know until we put it in operation if anything needs to be changed, or that was a complete failure, let's take this out and try this, that kind of scenario. But what is on paper, if the concept and the idea works, that should be what we need.
Because I know before you guys had to physically manhandle those huge pipes, and I'm hoping that you can get away from having to do that, and it increases your safety.
One of the items that still, if you look at the report, it says that there's still a couple small changes that need to be approved by the engineer. One of those is a four-corner post hoist system on a sliding I-beam type thing.
Okay.
So we no longer have to physically have a guy on each end picking up those pipes, connecting them, trying to swing it around and move the boat at the same time, drive the boat to get the flanges to line up so we can throw a bolt in real quick. That's going to go away with being able to easily secure our boat where we need it, and then be able to just pick up stick after stick with a chain hoist. That's going to be able to move almost the full length front and back, but full width side to side.
Okay, so it gives you flexibility, like you say, front and back. If you have to move it forward or backwards, you can do that without.
We can move it slightly forward and backward without having to move the boat itself.
So you mentioned securing the boat. What does that mean? Anchoring it?
Anchoring it, correct.
Okay.
Because there'll be, the way it's going to be set up now is all four corners of the barge will have a welded winch system to it. So we can have outriggers, if you will, off all four corners. So in the case of like another nasty winter or a windstorm, we don't walk out there and find our boat up against the shore because it had broken loose in the wind. You know, this will be anchored in all four corners.
Okay.
And if any time we go out there and we see that it's moving or rocking or swaying back side to side, we can go out there and just simply tighten the winches on all four corners and get security in. As before, it was, we literally had to go drive out and you know, try and push it into shore and tighten the rope, and it just.
So, you know, you mentioned winches for the anchor. I mean, the water gets pretty deep pretty fast there. How far are you anchored? Because where I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna ask you a question. Would we be wise, are you gonna use rope on these anchors, or are you gonna
No,
use chains?
it'll be 1/4 inch or 3/8 stainless cable.
Okay, instead of a manual winch, would it be wise to put an electric winch on there for you guys? I mean, I'm just asking questions, because I'm thinking about if you have to raise all 4 of these anchors up to be able to move the barge, da-da-da-da-da-da, efficiently, can you do it? I'm saying, maybe, I'm just asking if we should change something else. I mean,
Well, we're not really, for example, let's say all 4 corners, in order, how the lake would secure a houseboat to shore
Mhm.
would be 2 lines off your front corners straight out,
Mhm.
and then 2 lines off your back corners at 45s.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless, unless we had an anchoring system that went all the way up and down the hill, we're always gonna be pulling the stakes out of the ground and moving them to higher ground,
Mhm.
and then re-securing the boat by tightening the winches.
Okay,
So
okay, so,
whether it's electric or not, it's not gonna matter, because we're still, as the water goes up and down, we have
Okay,
to
so-
move the anchor points.
okay, see, what I was thinking when you said 4 anchors, I thought you meant 4 anchors like I anchor my boat without in the water. That's why, so you're gonna anchor to the shore, then tighten up your 2 front winches.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha, okay. Like I said, Randy, I want us to work smarter, harder, and not, you know, beat
Right.
ourselves up. That's why I was asking if electric, but if you're comfortable, that's fine with me. So-
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, if we get too extravagant on all the accessories that we put on the barge, it probably ain't gonna work too good for us,
Okay,
because, you know, we're just gonna keep it simple.
okay.
You know, we got manual chain hoists for the pipes, manual winches for the, you know, security.
Okay.
The only thing we are gonna, that we are changing, the current generator that's on there doesn't work. In order to get it to work, there was like all kinds of work that needed to be done on it because it was illegal. Couldn't have gas tanks that were underneath the hole, I mean, all kinds of stuff. So they are going to remove that and put us another one outside, in a lockable cabinet.
Okay,
That will give us, you know, plug options, so we have power available if we need tools or whatever out there, if we need lights. It will also have a solar system hooked to it that will not only keep our batteries charged for the boat itself, but the battery charged for the generator.
mm-hmm,
So that way it'll always be a fail-safe. If we go out there and the boat doesn't start, we can start the generator charges the battery, the boat starts.
mm-hmm.
If the generator's dead, the solar panel, we got it charged, you know, I mean, it's gonna be fairly set up nicely, but
Good.
just keeping everything kind of simple. We're doing everything manually. We don't need electric stuff out there. And of course, we're working with water, so how much electrical do we want out there?
Right. Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you, Randy. Okay. Moving
How
on.
about the public? I'd like to ask 2 questions.
Watch out, Mr. Wicks, more bills for you. Lake Don Pedro, CSD. Is there something in our water worse than LSD? Might explain no director diligence. Has some contaminant eaten common sense.